Hey, you guys, it's that time. It's 10 o'clock. It's Thursday, February the 6th, and I'm ready to get down to discussing some interesting topics. Hey. All right, give me 2 seconds to share this out. For those of you who are on the replay, forgive me for just a moment while I get this out to a couple of people. I think I found some non-copywritten music. It's not showing me that I'm live, but it's okay, because I'm going to make it work. Oh, that was cute. Is it live? If you're in the room, say hi. What up, BI? What's good? If you're in the room, drop me a wave, drop me a heart, do something so that I can tell that you're here while I figure out how to share this thing out, okay? It's going to take 2 seconds. I think I found some non-copywritten music, so I'm kind of excited. Y'all tell me what you think about it. Can you hear it? Thumbs up if you can hear the music. Thumbs down if you can't. I said via. Oh. Via. How was your trip? Hey, cuz. Thanks for popping in. I want to share to one of my pages. There we go. I am not the worst at all. I am the best. Oh, you're still on the trip. Wow. I'm lightweight jealous for real. Oh my goodness. No more food pics for us? Can I get another plate of food that you're consuming way out there? All right, give me 2 more seconds, guys, to share this. So while I'm sharing it out, I need you guys to leave me a comment and tell me what made you log on to this live and where you're logging on from. Tell me the city or tell me the state. Share to a group. Oh, thank you. You know what? That was like almost a year ago is what's so crazy about it. I was speaking at a conference, the Woman to Woman conference here in Huntsville last April. It was my birthday weekend, and Keisha Maddox actually took the picture. I didn't even know, and she shared it on her page, and I was like, I love this picture. So as I am amping up my speaking engagement tours for 2020, I figured I'd put a little bit of it out there. Like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm speaking. I'm encouraging and motivating people, educating the people. What? I don't know what you're talking about. What's up, Crystal? Thank you so much for logging on. So I'm getting everybody. I see California. Kelly, are you still in Vegas? JV's in California. Drop me where you're logging in from and what made you want to log on for this live. How about that? And go ahead and hit that share button, guys, because we want to get as many people in the room because I have some exciting news. And I feel like we have a really, really important, relatively amazing topic to talk about tonight. Oh, boy, hush. What about man do man? Listen, I don't know. I wasn't the organizer. Sounds like you might need to put something together, sir. All right, so for those of you who are coming in the room who don't know me personally, my name is Portia Hines. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Alabama, as well as life coach. I have been doing mental health and behavioral health professionally for over 10 years now. Gosh, that dates me, huh? But anyways, I am thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to be working in a field that I love. And I'm really excited about all of the opportunities that the Memphis, okay, girl, okay. Oh, you're so sweet. But I'm excited about what the internet is affording us to do now, guys. Like literally, it's like 3 different states at least represented, 4 different states represented in this chat right now. So how awesome is it for us to be able to connect with each other, support each other, and challenge each other in this way? All right, so tonight's topic is love and relationships. But we're not going to talk about who's with who, how to get a man, how to get a girl. What I want us to talk about tonight is how does the way you manage your emotions affect your relationships? Not just your romantic relationships, but yes, in your relationships that are romantic, but also in all of your relationships. So let's go ahead and define relationships. How you relate, how you interact, how you show up with other people. Those are the relationships that we're talking about, and we'll build up to the romantic relationships, all right? So, you have no emotions. That says a lot about you, Kelly. A lot. So, by a show of the little raised hand emoji, just because I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, and I'm curious, how many of you would be brave enough to say that if you have gone to any type of therapy before in the future? I'm just curious. If you raise your hand saying, yes, I've gone to therapy, or yes, I've gone to counseling, awesome. If you haven't, leave me a comment and tell me why. While you guys are putting your comments in the box, I would like to invite you to, 1, share this out. Yep, go ahead, hit that share button so everybody on your timeline can come and join the discussion with us. And 2, ask you to, once this is over, go ahead and visit my website, myjourneysolutions.com, and subscribe to the podcast. Because like in 2.5 seconds, I'm going to turn on the recording so that everything that we talk about here can be posted there. And it'll give you guys an opportunity to catch up on the almost 2 years worth of podcasts that are already sitting there for you. All right. So share this out. And once this is over, I'll drop another link and you guys can subscribe to the podcast. What's up, Rashonda? Thank you for logging in. So if everybody has hit that share button, I see 1 response. Okay, Crystal, that's what's up. I applaud you and thank you for being brave enough to say that you have gone to some type of counseling. I really hope that it was beneficial to you. Would you recommend counseling to other people? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. I don't know. While I'm turning this on, I'm going to say hello to everyone who just jumped in. I'm going to reintroduce myself. My name is Portia Hines. I'm the founder of My Journey Solutions, and it is a behavioral health, mindset, holistic wellness, coaching and counseling company. If you want more information, I would invite you to hop on over to the website. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. It kind of gives you a taste of the flavor of coaching and counseling that I do. But since we've got the recording started, let's jump into the topic. I asked on my social media platforms this week what questions or what topics people would want to discuss when it comes to love and relationships, and how our emotions either help us build those healthy relationships or push us further away from having a healthy relationships. Like, how do we self-sabotage, and where do those behaviors come from, right? So let's start with this question. Let's see. I got some good ones here, y'all. Okay. So my wonderful cousin, you absolutely believe that everyone should go before they run others away. Right. Like, so here's my deal with coaching and counseling. I believe in my heart of hearts that if you can't invest time learning about you and learning how to be the best you, Why should anybody else invest time in being around you if they don't absolutely have to? I don't know. What's up, Mimi? Long time no see. How are you? All right. So the first question that I had submitted is, why do we ignore warning signs? Now, this is going to be an interactive conversation, guys. I want us to discuss, right? And since I can't hear your voices, I need you to type away. Most of us probably aren't on a computer. We're probably on a phone. But after you hit that share button, I want you to type away with me. Why do we think people who are entering into relationships, whether it be platonic or romantic, why do we ignore warning signs? So warning signs can be defined as someone not sticking to their word. Or a warning sign could be something like, you don't want to judge a person by their past, but if they have repeated behavior of being in abusive relationships. Kelly says, because they're sick and we have too much fun with the cray-cray. Cray-cray can be fun at first, right? But then what happens? The crazy gets a little too much. So why do you think we avoid the warning signs? Hello, Joya. Thank you so much for popping into this discussion. JB says the heart wants what the heart wants. Joya says denial. Okay, so the heart wants what the heart wants. Rashonda says, because I see the best in others. Okay. So I think what I'm hearing collectively is we make a choice to look at the good. And because we want something, we ignore what could be potentially dangerous to us. Believing that they may be good at heart, says Crystal. So if this is something that it sounds like everybody has done from time to time, when do we get to the point where we choose ourselves first, choose our health first, choose our safety first? If we are ignoring warning signs, what are we saying to ourselves about how we feel about ourselves? Kelly says, yep, it's always a choice. Yes, like honestly, that's the premise of the type of counseling and coaching that I do. You have a choice in everything. Like getting to the point where you realize the life that you're living is due to a series of choices that you've made. So we can either be sad about it or we can take ownership of it and start making improvements. Sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow when we're older. So I think everybody in this room is, well, everybody that I can see in this room is over the age of 25, right? I think most of us are. I'm not sure about everybody. But how do we make sure that we're maturing even though we're aging? I know everybody probably knows someone who's a little bit older than this room, and they still keep repeating those unhealthy patterns. So is it a matter of age that we automatically get more mature and get wiser? Or is it us taking ownership of the power of choice? Crystal says, when we've gotten fed up and realized that help starts within. Yes, ma'am. Help starts within. So how do we stop ignoring the warning signs? If that's what we've done for 30 something years, how do we stop ignoring those warning signs and not live out of a place of fear? I need some comments on that one. If we've ignored warning signs for so long and then we decide to pay them attention, how do we not go all the way to the other side of the spectrum? Some people just don't want to be alone. Yeah, I think that's a place of fear too. So I would say first getting a client to the point where they're able to admit that, hey, I just don't want to be alone. And I can raise my hand and say that I've been in that category before myself. But then I stopped and asked myself, Portia, if you don't even like being alone with you, that's an issue. If you can't handle being by yourself and entertaining yourself and being great company for yourself, then what do you even have to offer someone else? I ain't scared of ish. Just kidding. Stop being afraid of who we are. Right. Being an individual and not holding ourselves up to compare to someone else or someone else's life. It's hard to get to that point. It's challenging to get to that point, but it's not impossible. All right. So if any of you guys have questions too, because I see some of you didn't drop questions in the submission post. If you have questions or discussion points, feel free to jump right in. Let's go to another one. I don't remember who posted this one, but the topic, let's see what Joya said. She said, I had to release, surrender, and get honest with myself. I have to be willing to walk away from what's unhealthy. Yeah. So how did you come to that point, Joya? What steps did you take to get there? Y'all, we had a basketball game tonight. I'm totally walking away from the topic for just a second. But we had a basketball game tonight. The Lady Jags, yes, they did such an amazing job tonight. Shout out to Jemison High School's girl basketball team. They played a really, really good game tonight, and I was yelling and screaming and jumping. So my voice is very, very raspy right now. We didn't win the game, but I feel like they were cheated. Might be a little biased, but in my humble opinion, I feel like the refs didn't call the game fairly. No shade to the other team, but I'm a Jag for life. So I'm going to pour myself a little tea here to sip on once it cools. All right, so the next discussion question. Hey, Kim. Hey, cuz. What's up, JQ? Thank you guys so much for popping in. Okay, so Joya says, I broke down and cried today. Then I could see clearly, and I'm ready now. That's what's up, girl. That takes a lot of bravery to be that honest and that transparent. And sometimes you have to release. Sometimes you have to, in order to move forward, you have to acknowledge something. And you have to allow yourself to process it and to let it go. If you're interested, send me a direct message afterwards. And there's some really cool exercises, a resource that I can point you in the direction of that helps you let go of those negative emotions. Crystal says, when you find peace within, then you won't allow anyone else to disturb it. Painful soul searching. Sometimes it does. It says see more. Okay, soul searching and discovery. Kelly says a Long Island iced tea. Okay, so let's go there. Officially, thank you everybody for jumping in. I really appreciate you coming into this discussion with us. So I'm going to ask all of our newbies to share and jump in the conversation with us. Some of us use defense mechanisms when it comes to processing emotion, right? Some of us, it's not a comfortable place for us to be in when things feel uncomfortable emotionally. Now, I have some really strong opinions about why that is. I really I have observed that we're not taught to deal with our emotions. We're told to either suck it up and keep moving. We're told, just pray about it. We're told sitting here is not going to get you anywhere. Just keep moving. But that's not healthy because we are emotional beings. I feel like God didn't give us emotions for us to just sweep them under a rug. And he said he made us in his image. So that means that we're made in his likeness. And if there's a part of him that he gave us and we're sweeping it under a rug, Kelly said alcohol is a maze boss. Anyways, and he said he's always right. Can somebody send Kelly a crazy looking emoji for me? Because I can't do it right now. All right. Our next topic of discussion is how to communicate. If communication is challenging for you in relationships, give me a 1. If communication is something that you would like to learn more about and to improve your skill set, give me a 2. So this is a class participation exercise. If communication has been an issue for you, drop a 1 in the comments. If it's something that told y'all my voice. Ooh, excuse me. They say we gotta be open. Nope, I love to talk. Okay, but what are we talking about when we're talking? Hi, Eric. How are you? Oh my goodness. Long time no see. Thanks for dropping in. So, how do we approach communication in relationships? Rashonda gave me a 2. I'm waiting for a few more. I need 1s and 2s, guys. 1s and 2s. How do we approach communication in a relationship? How did we learn how to communicate? What's your communication style? Anybody care to share? I think our communication styles, as I'm waiting, I'll chat a little bit. I think our communication styles can change. I think when we're younger, we're figuring it out, and then we come to a comfortable place, and unless we work on it with the people in our lives, listening, receiving, and processing, then we get stuck. Crystal says we have to be willing to listen. Hello, Tamika. Thanks for jumping in. Kelly says, well, communication is hard. Getting people to clearly receive the message is hella hard. It is. It's very hard because they're not in our heads. They can't see the picture that we see when we're formulating words and putting them together. My style is listen to me, I'm right. And everybody who knows Kelly knows that he's telling the truth right now. So with my counselor hat on, I'm going to ask you, how's that working for you, sir? I think the majority, I'm going to stop saying I think in a second, but I believe the majority of us listen in a way that's not active listening. We generally don't listen to understand. We listen to respond. So if I'm listening to understand, I'm observing with my eyes. I'm receiving with my emotions. I'm listening to the words and the way they're put together. Yes, most people listen to respond and not to understand. Actively listening is listening in context. Listening to respond is figuring out what you're going to say next. And we don't practice active listening. So if we get nothing else out of this chat, I want us all to practice active listening from now on. I want us to make it a point to practice active listening, not just in our romantic relationships, but to our children, to our coworkers, because a lot of times we hear what we would have said or how we would have said a thing instead of hearing what the individual or the people are trying to tell us. My son, a lot of times he'll say, well, mommy, I want to, and I'm like, did I ask him if he wanted yada yada woo woo woo? I was like, no, I didn't ask you. Instead of hearing his request and hearing his heart in what he's asking, I've gotten upset because I'm like, but wait, it's not your turn to talk. Right? Hey, Tamara, glad you could join us. I'm asking everybody who's popped in to hit the share button and be sure to jump right on in the discussion. We're talking about communication right now. I've asked the question, do you listen to respond or do you listen to understand? She said, yep, that happens to me a lot. And we get busy, right? We get busy and we have our own agendas. So in our brain, there's a constant dialogue going on. Going to do this next, going to do that next. This needs to be here. This needs to be there. Okay, what? You said something? Oh, okay. And sometimes we just catch little bits of what the other person has even said. I know I'm guilty of doing more than one something in my brain when someone else is talking. But so step number 1, active listening. Don't just listen to the words that are coming out of the person's mouth. listen to what they're saying in context of the situation. And sometimes that means you got to give them longer than a second to speak so that they can get their point across. And then don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions. Okay? I'm going to say that one again. Don't be afraid to ask questions. When we're communicating to someone, we don't all use the same definitions. What's up, Anitra? Thanks for joining. Kelly says he listens to see how stupid the person is. I'm talking. Boy, be quiet. What was I saying? Oh my gosh. We're actively listening. We're listening to the context. Let them get their point across. And if you're not sure if they meant A or B, ask. Because, definitions. Definitions are important. If I say it's hot outside, and to me hot is 70 degrees, and to you hot is anything above 100, we're not saying the same thing when we say it's hot outside. If I say you've offended me, and I meant, oh, that was silly, I really didn't like that. And when you say you've offended me, you mean, hey, that really hurt my feelings. I feel like you were being rude. Sometimes we're not always saying the same thing, even though we're using the same words. So don't be afraid to ask questions when it comes to communication. All right. So there's another... I know you're listening, trying to get better. Boy, you got a whole lot better. I'm really proud of you. Another question was, I'm going to paraphrase this one. How do we not carry baggage from the past into new relationships? And how do we not punish the new person for the mistakes of the person who came before them? I want to hear you guys' opinion on that. Like, that's something that I think has to be actively done in every decision, in every interaction. So how do you guys, when entering into a new relationship, keep from carrying baggage from the past? How do you, when you see a red flag, how do you not immediately respond like you would have in a previous relationship? Hey, Sonia. How are you, girl? Woo! I'm just so blessed that y'all jumped in here. It means so much to me. For everybody who even clicked the button. Okay, JB, he said leave the past in the past. How? Because some of us need some help with this one. How do you leave the past in the past? Kelly said PTSD is real. It is. Tamara says, I often don't hear all of what people are saying because I'm distracted by other thoughts. Sometimes if something comes to mind, I have to get it out quickly before I forget. Aging thing, LOL. Well, there are some things you can do to help your memory, and we can chat about that too, or we can have a whole nother discussion. Kelly said they ain't your past. JB says think it through before opening your mouth. That's good. That's really good. Think it through before opening your mouth. In this instant access, I want to report it first. I want to be right, and I want everybody else to know I'm right. Society, we often forget to think before we speak. Tamara says, I just bounce out of a relationship when I see any sign of a red flag when meeting someone new. I've done that before too. I think when we've been hurt, when we have felt unsafe, usually the next action to do is to swing all the way to the other side and just cut everybody who might even feel like they're giving us any of those same red flags. But it's about balance. It's about listening to your intuition and observing and using wisdom too. Yeah, being kind is better than being right. It sounds good, but do we practice it? Most of the time, more times than not. Sonia says challenging hypothetical thought process. Not what if, what is. Ooh, yes, ma'am. See, another counselor in the room, y'all. You can tell, right? You can tell. But yeah, challenging a hypothetical thought. Like, do I know this to be a fact? Where's the evidence? That's something that we should ask ourselves more. Where is the evidence? Especially for those of us who deal with anxiety or who are super, super, super overly analytical. I'm preaching to myself right now. You have to ask yourself those questions. Where's the evidence? Is this true or is this an assumption? Because y'all know what they say about assumptions, right? And I often ask myself also, and I challenge my clients to ask themselves, what percentage of the time are you a perfect human being? Is your normal what's considered normal to this other person? So it's gonna take time for you to interact with a person, to get to know their behavior patterns. So we have to be careful about who we let in too quickly, because if we let people in too close, too quickly, then they have more access to do more damage than if we take our time, get to know them, let them prove themselves as trustworthy. I'll save that for another night. I think we jump in too quick. We give too much access and then we regret it. Hey, cuz, thank you for jumping in. We're talking about how to not punish the new relationship prospect for sins of the past relationship. How do you not guard your heart to an extent that you're seeing them through the sunglasses of the previous relationship? Kim says it's essential to get to the root of the problem. What led to the hurt in the relationship? Was it a failure to establish, boundaries? Was it Was it failure to value yourself? You must be willing to be honest with yourself, and depending on the depth, girl, yes. Acknowledging, first and foremost, being willing to look at what went wrong. Where would I like to be instead of here? How would I like to feel instead of here? What part of it is under my control? Because obviously, if they're a relationship from the past, they're no longer with you. So all you have left to deal with is yourself, your beliefs, your behaviors, and what you choose to do next. At the root of it all, it's how we see ourselves. What we allow will continue, and what we disallow can't be here anymore. If someone has treated you poorly, if someone has neglected to spend time with you, they didn't place priority on your time and companionship, you can't hold that against the next person, because that person hasn't neglected you. That person hasn't devalued you. So you start by boundaries, relearning how to see yourself, relearning the value of yourself, and communicating that with your actions. You know, if somebody is kind of flippant with your time, it's okay to say, when we establish a time to get together and you disregard that, or you don't show up, or you come late, it makes me feel as though you think my time is not valuable, or you don't think it's important to spend time with me, which it's okay for you to feel how you feel. But if that's the case, now I know how to move, and I can move differently in that interaction. I'm just saying, you can only control you. That's a whole word right there, Kim. We're going to put Kim on here next time. She's going to come up in here. Nope, but tendencies feel real familiar. Granddad. I don't know what you're talking about, Kelly. I really, you lost me on that one. Tendencies do feel familiar, can feel familiar, but that comes back around to communication. If something that someone that you're in a new relationship is doing brings up feelings because it's something that a behavior that has happened to you in the past, it's all right to say, you know what? When these things are done, because of what I've gone through in the past, it brings up these emotions for me. And these are emotions that I don't like to experience. So let's figure out how we can move differently together. It's kind of like the definitions thing. Things are received differently from different people. And we can't just say, oh, well, that's not what I meant, so that's not how you should feel. If you care about that person and you're doing something that is hurting them, no, don't change your whole life and don't change who you are. But are you going to continue to do the thing that's bringing pain to the person that you care about? And on the flip side of that, if somebody who's claiming to care about you continues to do something that's hurtful to you, once you've expressed that it's hurtful to you, maybe you got some decisions to make. But first, you got to talk about it. We are in control of two things over our actions and reaction. Yes. Hey, Sharita. Hi, T. How are you? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. This dude, how many years ago was it since I seen you? I'm so honored that y'all jumped in. So I'm asking everybody to share this out because we're talking about emotions and relationships. We have already discussed, what did we discuss, guys? Communication. We've already discussed how not to punish a new romantic interest or a new relationship for the sins of the past relationships. Let's see what else we've got here on this list. Let's see. Hey, Shayla. Hi, girl. Okay. How to process negative emotions and making sure you're taking care of your mental health to prevent unnecessary negative actions. Let me read that one again. How to process negative emotions. Making sure you're taking care of your mental health to prevent unnecessary negative actions. Yeah. So prioritizing, it comes back to what you can control. You can control you. You can control, like Sonia said, your reactions. So checking in with yourself about your emotions regularly. And as superintendent said, making sure you have enough margin in your life. Your life is not chocked full to capacity so that any minor event that doesn't go your way blows a gasket. Making sure that you're all right. And when you're not, doing something about it. If I'm stressed, if I'm working from dusk till dawn every day, if I'm not getting sleep, if I never spend time in a community of people who pour into me, if I never feel affirmed, if I don't feel valued, then I'm a ticking time bomb. I'm going to snap at any and every little thing. So even if it is someone that I care about and they care about me, how do I stay balanced if I'm not taking care of me? And that's going to look different for everybody. That's going to look different for everybody. You've got to get to know yourself. And it takes time to get to know yourself, which sounds crazy because it's like, I'm me. How can I not know me? Hey, superintendent. Y'all, I'm so honored that y'all are in this room right now. Y'all have no idea. Oh my goodness. But we do need to get to know ourselves. If you don't know what brings you joy, if you don't know what your non-negotiables are, if you don't know things that you absolutely will not put up with in your own life, then how can you set those boundaries when you're in a relationship with someone else? How can you communicate those boundaries if you are not aware of those boundaries? How we practice other things, right? So we practice for our career paths. We practice for our fitness or for our sports and for our entertainment. We do those things habitually. We set aside time to do those things. But when was the last time you sat down with a pen and paper and just wrote about or even just thought about how you've been feeling lately. I actually posted something in another group earlier this week, like a mood tracker. How many days out of the past week have you been grumpy? Is that your norm? Or is something off? And you backtrack and you figure out, okay, when did I start feeling this way? How long have I started feeling this way? And can I pinpoint the cause or what the change was that led to me feeling this way? Because again, that power of choice, that you being in control of you, is what allows you to make changes in those areas. Tamara said, my problem is I try to suppress feelings I have towards others to prevent negative outcomes or conflicts. It leaves me aggravated by not being able to process my issues by myself. So here's the thing. Pushing down and suppressing is not doing anything for you. It's actually working against you. So I'm going to geek out for 2.5 seconds, guys. But modern science has realized that you know how like when you get your blood pressure checked, you can hear the blood and, they put on the stethoscope, or when you get an MRI, they can see the electrical stuff going on in your body. Well, they've got technology now that they can see different parts of the brain lighting up when you think certain thoughts or when certain stimuli are given. So if your thoughts carry electromagnetic energy, sweeping them to the side and suppressing them is only moving the location of it. It doesn't get rid of it. It just puts it to the side for a later time. And here's the thing that I know about emotions. The more you press them down, the more you don't acknowledge them, they're going to be like, you know what? I gave you a chance. I gave you the opportunity to deal with me. But since you're not, I'm going to make you deal with me. So this is where I said it's the individual part. Y'all, I'm sorry. My nose is itching. When my allergies get kicked up, my nose itches. But here's the individual part. What works for Portia may not work for Tamara in dealing with her emotions. We get to do some trial and error. We get to say, okay, I'm going to start with this bag of coping skills. That's a counseling word, but that just means I'm going to start with a bag of things to try to figure out what works for me to deal with my emotions, what calms the anger, what comforts the hurt or the pain, what releases the energy that I'm feeling. So the first step is going to be to identify what it is you're feeling. You know it's negative, so it's uncomfortable. But are you feeling fearful? Are you feeling hurt? Are you feeling neglected? Are you feeling unseen? Really getting alone and asking yourself. And it's going to take some vulnerability. But what am I feeling? And can I get to the root cause of what brought this feeling on so that I can take ownership in changing it? Something that I started doing a few years back to just process my emotions. I love audiobooks, you guys. Like I love podcasts and audiobooks. Pause. Shameless plug. When this is over, I need all of you guys to go to my Journey Solutions page on Facebook and go to the website and subscribe to the podcast. But anyways, I absolutely love taking in information. But I realized that I'm taking in, but I'm not giving myself time to sit with any of the information that I'm taking in. Girl, yes, pressure cookers explode, ignored explode, bam, corned beef and cabbage on the ceiling, or maybe feelings exploding. Yes. We're not teaching our kids, and we haven't been taught how to deal with our emotions. So we push them down. My favorite analogy is the Coke bottle. Like I always keep a Coke bottle. Thanks, JB. I know it's late. I appreciate you spending this time with me, and I can't wait to do it again soon. Coke bottle. You got a Coke bottle. Life is my hand, and it shakes that Coke bottle up. Shakes it up, right? And then we put it down. Then it gets shaken up some more. And then it just comes open. When you're ready to take a sip, you open it. The Coke goes everywhere. Instead of us letting little out by little out by little out. Hey, Marshall, thank you so much. If we take the time to communicate value to ourselves by acknowledging our emotions and dealing with them as they come. I know if you're at work, you can't always step away and say, you know what, the way she spoke to me made me feel unvalued or devalued. You can't always do that in the moment. So taking control back of your time, your day, your week, and scheduling time to say, let me reflect. Let me reflect on how I've been feeling. Let me reflect on how I've been acting. And let me purposefully and intentionally set up some changes. Which brings me to kind of the end of the thought process. Reflect, process, but then there has to be an action with it. It does us no good to talk about our emotions, talk about them, feel them, talk about them, if we're not going to pair an action to dealing with it. The point of me talking about the podcast was I started working out. Now, y'all who know me, I started working out and then I fell in love with it, right? But lately I had fallen off. Like I haven't, until today, the last time I worked out was December. And before December, we're not even going to talk about the last time but that time used to be like a sacred set apart time for me and my thoughts and processing. And then I would come up with action steps to do moving forward. I have had the most therapeutic moments on the treadmill. Y'all don't tell nobody. But I've had the most therapeutic moments on the treadmill because it's me and my thoughts. It's me and just me. Not the TV, not the radio, not the kids. Excuse me, guys. Figure out what works for you. A starting place can be journaling, where you write about your emotions, not in the politically correct way. You write about your feelings unfiltered. This jerk cut me off in traffic and I really wanted to yell and scream at them, but the kids were in the back seat, so I didn't yell and scream. So now I feel all tight and tense and angry and I need to release that. What should I do? Okay, I'm going to try this. Then you try the thing. And if it doesn't work, you move to the next thing. And if that does work, you put a little star by that in your journal so that the next time you have that feeling, that can be your go-to point first. But we want a book bag full of tools, okay, guys? A book bag full of tools to use when we need to process emotion. Does anyone who hasn't submitted a question to talk about for love, relationships, and emotions want to drop one before we get to the absolute end of the chat tonight? While you guys are thinking, if you have any questions, there's a couple of things I want to tell you about. So the first thing is, I don't know if you see my little bracelets here, but these are lava stone bracelets, and I'm actually running a special right now. I bring them up because I wear them as a reminder that I'm in control of my emotions. Therefore, I'm in control of what happens to me. So when I get up in the mornings, I decide what mood I want to carry with me throughout the day. Then I go to my little, what do we call these things? Essential oils. And for me, a scent reminds me of a feeling or a mood. So whatever mood, if I know I need to be calmer that day, I'll pick up some lavender. Or if I know I need to have some more energy that day, I'll pick up some lemongrass or some peppermint. And I will put a couple of drops on my lava stones. Hey, cuzzo. And anytime I am doing a scan, I'm doing a body check, I'm doing an emotion check-in, and I'm not in that mood that I previously set for myself, I'm like, oh wait, I can just smell my lava stone with my essential oil on it. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to put on a physical reminder that you're in control of your mood, you're in control of your emotions, you're in control of what happens to you each and every day, moment by moment, and that's simply by choosing. So I'm doing the special on the bracelets. I'm going to do 2 for $10. So anybody who wants one, send me a direct message and we'll talk about the color patterns and talk about how to get them to you. Okay. So the lava stone or essential oil, aromatherapy oil bracelets are going 2 for $10. And that's just because I love you guys so much for being in this chat tonight. I wanted to do something special for you. The second thing is, so many people have sent me so many questions about Portia. I'm coming to the chat or I'm going to watch the replay, but I really need to know how to get in control of my emotions. I know that my voice is the voice that I hear in my head all the time. My voice has the biggest influence on me, but I just feel like I'm on an emotional roller coaster all the time. Something can happen and that's it for the rest of my day. That's it for the rest of the month. So I am going to be releasing a link for a private group. It's going to be an intensive emotion regulation class. Like, I'm going to teach you guys action, belief, or thought, then consequence. I'm going to teach you guys how to get back in control of your self-talk. I'm going to teach you guys how to identify a goal, how to set your intention for the day, and how to find the motivation to keep reinforcing that thing that you've said. If you say, you know what, I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected all day, then by golly, by the end of this 4-week course, we're going to do lives once a week, but you're going to have homework. You're going to have things that you've got to work on outside of the group, but we're going to have question and answer. We're going to have instruction session, and it's going to be a lot more detailed than I can do on these broadcasts during the month of February. So if you're interested, send me a direct message and I'll get that link over to you. All right. So no one else has dropped a question, so I'll go back to my list. Actually, there's something else I wanted to do with you guys too. For everybody who's just popped in, please go over and subscribe to the podcast and share this video out. So I've got some thought questions for you guys. Some of us in the room are married. Some of us in the room are single and dating. Some of us are just single. So I thought it would be fun if before we wrapped up, we kind of had a rapid fire discussion. So I need everyone in the room to participate, okay? So I want you to drop your answers just as soon as I ask the question, and we'll see how many people agree and how many people disagree. How is attraction different than love? What's the difference between love and attraction? Is there a difference between love and attraction? Somebody give me an answer, and I'll give it a second because of the delay. Y'all, this tea is so good. I'm going to shout out a couple of local businesses just because if you guys saw Crystal in here earlier, I can't ever remember Crystal's last name, but hold on, let me look it up. Her tea that she sells is amazing, and Huntsville Herbology's tea is also amazing. And my computer's acting crazy, you guys. It won't let me move the mouse. It's Her Secret Garden is Crystal's business, and she sells herbal teas, and it's acting crazy. And Huntsville Herbology, they sell amazing herbal teas as well. So if you're here, go stop by where they're located. If not, you can find them both online. But yeah, I love herbal tea. Tina says, you can be attracted to anyone, but you can't love anyone. Okay. What do you guys think? Says, the attraction can be immediate, but love is something that has to be developed over time. Okay. Anyone else want to weigh in on love versus attraction? Are they the same thing? Or are they different things? All right, so the next question, let me see if I can find a really good one. Let's see. Tamara says, attraction is physical. What you see with your eyes, and love is attached to your heart once you get a glimpse of someone else's heart. Sonia says, animal pheromones are attraction. Love is built on together takes time, effort, and lots of effort. So that was actually one of my questions. She's all off in my head. Like, see, this is why we get along so well. Is love all chemical? Do you guys think that love is a chemical response? And by chemical, I mean hormonal response. Our feelings of love, is it because of hormones? Or is it something deeper? Thoughts on that. I don't know how I feel about it. I definitely think attraction is physically based, meaning your body, your hormones. Stop laughing at me. Your hormones play a big role in whether or not you're attracted to someone. But I do think love is something that's built. I think we definitely need to redefine love, because it's been taken out of context of what it should be. We think these days love is if you do what I want you to do, or if you never tell me no, or we have to agree all the time on the same thing. That's not love. Tina says it has to be something deeper, in my opinion, and Sonia says way deeper. I agree. All right, so one last time, if everyone will tell me where you're watching from in the comment box. Tamara says, I love family, but I can love you and not really like you. I wholeheartedly agree on that. Like, I can love you and not like you. And in a long-term relationship, I wholeheartedly believe that you can still love someone, but there are going to be times that you don't like them or you don't like their current actions. My opinion. I'm just saying. But I'm single, so hey. Does anyone have a home? This girl said home. All right, home. You missed the beginning where everybody was dropping their state. We had like a good little stretch of the country represented. Iowa, yes. I'm going to travel more this year, guys. I really am. It's some places I want to go, some things I want to see and do. So I'm traveling more this year. So I'm just going to put it in the atmosphere again. I am claiming speaking engagements. I am claiming travel for 2020. Alabama. So I'm going to open up for a question and answer just really quickly because it is getting late. I said I was going to be on here for an hour and we are at 58 minutes. If there is a question that you have about relationships in the context of how our emotions play a role in the relationship. You're in Huntsville? Cousin, you did not tell me you were in Huntsville. I'm a little upset. My mom was here from NC. Not sure. Oh, cool. I love that. Again, guys, I am really, really honored that you all would take time in your evening to sit with me, to talk with me, to grow together. I feel like that's what it's about. A lot of times we aren't able to get physically in the room with like-minded people. So thank God we have this platform to do so. For all the bad things that come across social media and Facebook and whatnot, we can use these tools for good as well. I totally plan on this being a supportive community where we learn and grow together, where we hold each other accountable, where we push each other to be better. So just go ahead and pencil it in. This is our little family time, okay? Oh, that's awesome. What's up, Drew? Birthday with family. Aw, see? I have no words right now. All right. Are there any questions about emotions? It doesn't have to specifically be, or how to handle emotions. It doesn't have to specifically be about love and relationships. We're going to give it another 2 minutes before I log off because guess what? I got to go work in the morning and I bet some of y'all do too. So I'm going to be respectful of your time. I'm going to say if you have questions about the coaching program or what the coaching options are, if you're curious about counseling and you live in the state of Alabama, definitely send me a DM and we will figure out what the best next step is. My relationship question is how told you you would be an awesome comedian, ma'am. Like, you're hilarious. You need to start working on that stand-up routine ASAP. Anywho, when you come back to Alabama, ma'am, I cannot believe no one has dropped a question in here, you guys. It's okay. It's all right. Ooh, getting rid of negative emotions from childhood. It's going to start with self-talk. Once you've acknowledged those negative emotions, choosing to challenge them with facts, choosing to challenge them with the realization that it's the past and you can't change what happened, but you can recreate positive associations with, or healthy associations moving forward surrounding whatever the event. And then there's some things such as trauma that you may need to sit down with a professional, or they may need to sit down with a professional to work through. Trauma gets written on our hearts, like abuse gets written on our heart. And usually it's not a one-stop shop to untangle that thing, process it, and move forward. And I'm not saying sit down and talk about it over and over and over and over again, but there are processes. Trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy is one that I highly recommend. And I've heard some really good things about EMDR. I would say look into that as well. If it's deep-seated, like trauma, negative emotions about the past or from childhood. Thank you, love. You're proud of me. I would have, but I just got here. No, I'm saying you can drop a question now. How to begin that? I would say, because you live in Georgia, I would look up psychologytoday.com and go through those profiles to see, because a lot of therapists, a lot of counselors put in their profiles what their specialties are. And you can find somebody who resonates with you or that has experience in that area, and ask them some questions. Like, as a counselor, I don't feel bad if somebody asks me questions about my approach or my experience or how I would start going about a thing before they schedule an appointment. How do you create a good mental state when you have an illness, disease, and doctors claim it's not curable? Well, since you're my cousin, you know I'm saying that we believe in that the doctor doesn't know everything. So we're going to believe that other report. But focusing on the good, reinforcing the good. On those good days, we celebrate those good days. It doesn't have to be a whole day, but those good moments, we celebrate those good moments by connecting to what gives you that feeling of life, connecting to what gives you that feeling of happiness, and recreating that as much as possible, because what we place our focus on is what we get more of. And not saying that you're not experiencing the effects of the illness, but if we can minimize those effects by putting our focus and putting our energy into something else, it's like we've stepped into a different part of a reality, right? I know that sounds really woo-woo, but also I would say those meditations, when you're visualizing something, your body and your brain don't know the difference between that being reality or that being imagined. You're going to experience it physically and mentally. So getting into the alpha state and deeper, and writing a picture of what you want your reality to be so that it's not foreign to you. Because right now the disease or the illness is more real to you than the flip side of that coin. So we've got to recreate a different baseline. But you know, we've got all those. We got all those. So I'm going to see you sometime Saturday evening over here, and we're going to do some meditations together. Okay, bet. It's a date, cuz. All right. Sonia says, subscribe to Portia. Aw, My Journey Solutions. Thank you, love. Great place to start. Just saying, girl, you're so sweet. So the website is www.myjourneysolutions.com. Okay, Saturday it is. Got you. myjourneysolutions.com. There's a link on there that tells you all about the services that I offer. There's a link on there that will take you to subscribe to the podcast. Yes. And what Toy is saying? Yes, that's me. It's all right. I'm Toy. I'll always be Toy to y'all. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who knows it. We family. So podcast, catch up. I think my style might be a little unorthodox. However, I am me and I like me. And I might not be for everybody, but for those who click with me, I would love for you to come along this journey with me. Just as much as I'm learning, I want to share with you guys. Just as much as I'm growing and developing, I want to shorten the path for someone else. If I can share what I've learned, if I can coach you through situations that I've navigated either through training or personal experience, I want to shorten that journey for as many people as I possibly can. So to close out, I'm going to say, visit my website, follow the podcast, but most of all, know that the life you live, the life you're experiencing, it is in your hands. It's a choice. It's a choice, and you have control over your own happiness. So let's not give that control over to anybody else for any reason. How you feel about you is how others are going to treat you. So invest in yourself. Invest in getting to where you want to be. You were divinely created. Like, I get emotional when I talk about it because, and for those who aren't believers, I'm sorry, but my beliefs are, if the God that created the heavens and the earth, if the God who put all the stars into place took the time to create me, I'm very valuable. I'm very special. And that's for each and every person. So if God sees that much value in me, enough to give his only son, I need to see myself as valuable and treat myself as valuable. My mental health, my emotions, how I behave, what I allow, what I don't allow to come into my life, not let people mistreat me, not let people take advantage of me, treat myself right, eat well, exercise, figure out what makes me the most and best version of me. All right, I'm going to leave it there, y'all, because I can go on and on for days about this. So I love each and every one of you. Be sure to hit the share button. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Portia Hines, and be sure to follow my Facebook page, My Journey Solutions. Listen to the podcast. I'm trying to up my viewership or my listenership, subscribers, because I want to have some really awesome guests on, and that's how they jump into the podcast, because they know people will listen. So share it out. I'll talk to you guys later. If you want to DM me and give me your reflections on this live, I'd love to hear them. Have a great night, everybody. I love you. Mwah.